You mentioned a word before, and it's picking up a lot of traction in the job market and in recent headlines. You mentioned prompt engineering, and I will let you explain what that is and how we can all prepare for it. But before you do so, one thing I read, which I think is it really captures this, is that we are all prompt engineers, and we can all be, and we should all be prompt engineers. So I'll let you explain what that is and some of the best practices you've seen.
Yes. Lucas, before I answer this question, if I may dare say so, something that you told me prompted something else in me, if I may.
Yeah,
Here is what scares me, Lucas. Creativity is humanity's last bastion, right? So, for example, what makes Lucas and Arjun and Marcus, who's everywhere, unique, is we have our own cognition, right? We have our own creativity, right? What Lucas creates is his own. You have your own experiences that you share, that you express. Here is what's scary. With generative AI, it creates a poem for you. It is creating art form for you, right? Yes, it's not personalized, but you could perhaps personalize it too. You can tomorrow say, ChatGPT, create a poem as Lucas would, and it probably would start to would start to do that in an instant, which would probably take you 30, 40 years of experience, right? That is scary because creativity, art, some of the more nuanced cognitive tasks that were very much, you would say the bastion of human consciousness, those lines are starting to ebb. Let's shift to prompt engineering. It sounds like a buzzword or a keyword, but very simply put, prompt engineering is nothing but asking the right questions. As the English expression goes, it's not about what answers you want, it's about asking the right questions. So prompt engineering, simply put, is knowing what to ask in order to get the answer you want, right? And Basically, you start with basic prompts, and you start to figure out if you're getting the right answers from AI. Um, and you start to then optimize your query. Again, query is technical, but simply put, you start to optimize the questions you're asking ChatGPT or any other generative AI form to be able to give you effective answers, right? And so those answers are informing what sort of questions you're going to ask. Um, here is an interesting tidbit. Over the last 2 to 3 months, beyond the whole prompt engineering hype, there are a lot of folks who are putting out their stock list of prompts, right? So you don't even have to you don't have to create your own prompts. There is a whole library of prompts which you can just copy paste, and you will get the sort of responses you want, right? So there is this whole industry and content around vertical based prompts. So if I was a doctor, what sort of prompts I would use to elicit certain responses, or if I was an engineer, what sort of prompts would I use to elicit a response? We now are entering this phase where you have creators and prompt engineers sharing their prompt libraries. And of course, it's just started, but you'll start to see more of this knowledge sharing where you don't even have to write your own prompts. There will be so much information that you can just reuse and repurpose a lot of the queries or prompts yourself, to be able to optimize for your time without having to even create your own prompts, so to speak. So yeah, that's kind of what is prompt engineering. Obviously, it will we will start to see it get more sophisticated. We will start to see more prompt libraries depending on which sector, which domain is starting to use generative AI. So this is going to explode, right? This is one of the hottest growing spaces, and if you're not in it, you're probably not going to be able to ride the wave. This is so to use surfer language. This is the next big wave, right? And I
This is
think
the next
your
big.
audience owes it to itself to be able to ride the wave, if you will.